Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Prepare to have your bones chilled and your hairs raised. It's the WacArnold's Brothers Podcast.
Welcome home.
And we are officially recording. So
what's up?
What up? Swinging in. Have you? I didn't.
Speaking of,
you know where I'm going with this, my dude. Have you seen it?
I'm going to see it tomorrow night because, like,
hot dog.
my buddy, like, the only time he could find tickets was for tomorrow night. So I just actually watched the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and right now I'm currently watching the second one.
Yes.
You already saw it.
Yeah. I got
Lucky
a
fucker.
single ticket. I just slid into a theater, you know, and dude, we'll have to talk about it. You have to text me your thoughts afterward.
Yeah, because I thought about, like, sneaking in tomorrow, seeing if I could sneak in tomorrow, but I would feel like such a douche because he, like, already got the tickets and everything. Like, I would feel like such a douche, like, seeing it and then, like, going with him and pretending like I haven't already seen it.
Right. Whoa.
Like, I mean, unfortunately, some things already got ruined, but I've been looking forward to this movie, like most people, for like a year or so. Dude, I can't fucking wait.
Dude, I feel like it was just a blast. So I can't wait to, like, hear your thoughts on it, man.
Word.
Yeah, I watched all the Sam Raimi. Well, I watched 1 and 2 before I saw it too, and you know what, dude? I fucking reappreciated how awesome Spider-Man 2 was. Like, just some of the like fight sequences alone are so badass. Like, I
love like. I mean, Marissa Tomei as Aunt May is beautiful, but
dude,
Raimi verse has, like, my favorite Aunt May. I really like Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire's probably my favorite Spider-Man. Like,
word.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, Tom Holland's great, like, you know, for what he is, but Tobey Maguire, I think, and you see it in that Spider-Man 2, like the character building that they do with both, you know, alter ego and Peter Parker is just so fucking, like, good, man. And you're right, I think that is my favorite Aunt May because, you know, when I was rewatching it, like, some of her dialogue just gave me the goosebumps, man. And just, like, gives you this like fucking weird inspirado feeling of, like, damn, dude, like, I don't know, it just hits you. Like, anyway, we're not here to talk too much about Spider-Man.
Like, real quick though,
yeah.
I don't know if it's because, like, we grew up with that, you know what I mean? So to say. But those are my favorite. Like, I like the Andrew Garfield ones, minus the fucking ridiculous skateboarding sequence. Like, I like the Andrew Garfield ones are all right. Like, they did some questionable things with Electro, but they're still good movies. And I really like the way they did the Lizard. Oh yeah. Which I thought was cool because, like, I feel like if Spider-Man 3 wouldn't have been so bad, like, because obviously Dr. Connors is in Spider-Man 2 and he doesn't have an arm and he's referenced in the first one. Like, I feel like they would have got to that at some point.
Totally, dude. And you know, like, I remember when, you know, those movies were coming out and when we were experiencing them, that's, like, the direction we all thought was, like, there was going to be, you know, going, you know, in those movies. Like, we were just like, okay, it's only a matter of time before we get, like, fucking Doc Connors here as the Lizard, you know. And yeah, it's unfortunate that a third movie tanked it, but, you know, they had even had the plans for, like, a Spider-Man 4 going and shit, you know. And so but
yeah. We could...
it works. Sam Raimi's also a horror movie director, so
true.
Not this movie, but
no. We're actually here to talk about a cult classic called Christmas Evil. But as the title card, it was also titled "You Better Watch Out." Yeah. And I was reading, like, I think it's on the Wikipedia page. It was saying how this is one of, like, John Waters' like favorite movies or something like that.
Yeah. It was like I read that it was there's been like multiple releases of this movie, obviously, and like when they did one of them, he did like an audio commentary and like said it was like the greatest Christmas movie, of all time or whatever, which is just fucking epic, dude. To get a John Waters stamp of approval is fucking awesome, man.
Right.
And this movie is quite absurd.
For sure.
I mean, like, it starts out in this kind of like, honestly, it just kicks right into Christmas Eve, and you're sort of like, you get this like really wholesome vibe at first, and then like it's like that whole sequence of like the kids seeing Santa like somehow come down the chimney and like divvy out presents. He gives them the little like nose wink thing, and like they
zips back up the chimney.
Just goes back up the fucking chimney, which I was baffled by. One of the most surprising parts about this whole movie. And
but I think that's because it was like we quickly see these two kids in bed.
Yeah.
And that was obviously like the kid's imagination of the sequence that just happened, where it was like, we as the viewer, we know that it was his dad dressed up as Santa Claus, but he doesn't want to believe it because he has this like awkward scene where he's watching his mom like in lingerie, like nuzzling up to the
oh my god, yeah, nuzzling right the fuck up, dude. Like it was interesting that this was another movie where like the young, like a young child experiences like some sort of like trauma by seeing like parental figures, like I mean in other movies it's it's been a little more like violent. This one, it was like definitely a consensual sequence, and this kid like had just such a negative reaction to Santa banging his mom. I mean like that, like he like runs upstairs and like finds like a snow globe in their attic or something like that, this magical looking snow globe, and like this was a gnarly looking part though, dude. He like shatters the snow globe and then like cuts his fucking hand.
Yeah.
And like you get that kind of cool cut of like the blood dripping down onto like some of the aspects of the snow globe, and then it goes right into the fucking credit sequence, which I thought was kind of cool actually.
It is a cool little shot. Like I love the way that like it kind of reminded me of the way blood looked in like a Jalo. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it had this like bright redness to it or something.
Yeah, I love it. I love that kind of look for blood. Like it's obviously not the most realistic looking, but I just love the way it looks.
Totally. It was that's one of the reasons I think I've talked about it, but like in Dawn of the Dead, like the blood work in that is just so fucking like, I don't know, eye catching,
Totally.
But yeah, I love that like the right after the credit sequence, you dive right into like 30 something years in the future, and it's the whole like setup of this man's apartment. Like you see what you assume is probably the young boy. He's
as an adult.
He's like in like a full like silken Santa pajama outfit, like, and like everything is Christmas, man. Everything.
It's absurd. Like his love for Christmas. Like I've never really been a huge, like when I was a kid, obviously, you know what I mean. You get enamored by it, but I've never been a big fan of Christmas. So like seeing someone that is so obsessed with Christmas to me is just kind of weird. I don't know.
It's bizarre to me too. Like, I mean, I can enjoy some like of the, I don't know. I like to bake cookies this time of year, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. But like this is just such a gnarly level. Like to the point where like, he's like having fun putting his shaving cream on, looking like fucking Santa Claus in the mirror and shit, like and
you can already tell in that sequence there too that this guy's like something's off with him.
Oh,
you know what I
totally,
mean?
totally.
Like he obviously becomes way more unhinged later, but even in this scene where he's like, like this guy's a fruitcake. You know what I mean?
This guy is fucking nutty, and it goes even like this movie just keeps like showing you this like right away. So it goes like right from there to like his like I don't know, side hobby of like spying on the neighborhood children to see if they're being naughty or nice. Like,
yeah, it's yeah. He even like, we see this scene where he's like scoping through, like looks into this little girl's room, was playing with the doll, and then he sees like the kid that he has like the most despise for, this kid named Moss Garcia, looking at a penthouse.
Yeah.
And I like how the guy, he just makes a fucking beeline for his apartment. Like,
yeah, dude.
So he has these. The books are just over the top.
He has this, like, when he sees the kid looking at the penthouse, there's like a shot of him looking at like the centerfold, and then like shortly thereafter, like it cuts to like Harry, and then it cuts back to the kid, and he's like holding this cutout of like the centerfold, like topless and everything, and it's just like that kid had some quick fucking scissor work there, I'll tell you what. But yeah, like he keeps these like big, huge, like hardback fucking books on these like
on
these kids, man.
Bad Boys. There's one for each. There's one for the Bad Boys and Girls book of 1980, and the Good Girls, and it like even shows them like right on Moss's page, and he already has like this laundry list of like impure thoughts, negative body hygiene.
Impure thoughts. I love it, dude.
It's pretty creepy.
It's fucking creepy. It is absolutely creepy. We're laughing about it, but like if somebody did this in real life, like people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Don't be looking at my kid. Yeah, it's such a fucking wild, I don't know. I mean, anyway, so then you get kind of some more context for Harry's character, where like you see his workplace, right?
Yeah.
And like the toy factory that he works at.
Yeah, as if like his love for Christmas isn't enough. He works at Jolly Dream, which it's a toy. They're like gearing up for Christmas season, and yeah, he like. We learn a little bit later that he just got like a raise, and he's it doesn't explain what he is, but he's some form of like executive.
Yeah, he's
there.
Like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a management figure of some sort or something.
Yeah.
Which, like he doesn't come off as like a very authoritative person or anything. He's very kind of like
because everyone just like, yeah, oh, for sure. Because like everyone just makes fun of him, and he even gets like suckered into working for this total fucking schmuck, which is funny because the guy calls Harry a schmuck later, but this guy like Frank basically is just like a fucking dick to him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a funny we talk about how this guy Frank cons him into working, and he ends up like going to work on the production line that night. But what's funny is that, I don't know if you noticed this, but it shows like the crew working, and there's like one set of toys that's on the line, and then it cuts to the other, like the next shift coming in, and when they're working, it's a completely separate toys. It's like it's just like a continuity issue that I noticed.
It's so I love those kind of fucking things, man. And then like you said, he gets kind of suckered into fucking working that shift, and after he gets out, he's kind of like he's hoofing it home, and he stumbles upon a window to peep into, because it's his thing, it seems like, and he sees some of his coworkers and Frank, the fucking guy he's working for, just hamming it up at the fucking bar.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about, where Frank's like, yeah, I got that schmuck Harry working for me tonight.
It's like, what perfect timing that they have him like walk up and see him, and they're just talking shit about Harry. Right. Yeah, and then he just beelines back to his fucking Christmas apartment.
It's like the second time he like makes a mad dash for his
just fucking starts sprinting off.
Yeah, and he even like has this like weird scene where he like picks up this doll, and he's like humming. He's like,
yeah,
and he gets like angrier and angrier with it, and just like ends up snapping the head of this toy doll off. It's it's just a little unsettling.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where you're like, it starts to bleed in like the he's got some like fucking weird issues that are just like pushed aside from this Christmas stuff, you know,
because he even goes because what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say like he, you know, aside like that scene, he's like humming like a Christmas tune,
some kind of Christmas song,
and you know, right after that, it's like you have that sequence where he's like watching the parade or whatever.
Well, before that, it shows him like,
that's right.
Like he even like creepily like watches in at his brother's house and like is like witnessing his brother and his wife like get it on the couch. Like it's just it was one of those. It was like a weird scene. It was just so weird to me because it didn't do anything to like propel the plot. It just kind of. I don't know if they were trying to make him look like more like a creep, but it was just weird. Yeah, I agree. Like it was strange because it was like you don't need to make him look more like a creep. He already is looking like a creep, but like it doesn't come up necessarily later on when the characters interact or anything. You know what I mean? But then, like you said, then the next day he's watching like the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade, you know what I mean? Yeah, and like he has that interaction with his brother over the phone where like he like is like watching the parade at like full volume or some shit, and like his brother like it's just like again sort of like this weird unsettling moment where it's like he refuses to put like anything above this like season, you know what I mean? Or his obsession with sick, because like he's explaining he doesn't want to go over there, and right as he's doing that, it's like Santa's coming up next in the parade, and that's all he wants to like put his attention to. Yeah, you know what I mean? It yeah, it's like an unhealthy obsession. Yeah, it's strange, and then you know like you see him like assembling like his own claws suit and stuff like that. Yeah, like, which I will say is a pretty dope suit. Like, but like he like really put some fucking work into that thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like trying out different mustaches, and, like pillows to make it like bigger. It's just man, it's bizarre. He like cuts up like a fur coat and like uses it to like line his fucking like Santa costume. It's like he really goes for it. He even goes as far as he's seen painting his van with like painting his van on the side which looks like Santa's sleigh, and then he also, you know, has this scene where he's talking about all these presents he has planned for the neighborhood kids, you know what I mean? Like it's like weird because it's like on one hand you're sort of like maybe he's just trying to do nice, you know, like, but then it's just like the level, the deep level he goes with it is the because we see that sort of in like the next scene where it's like the next day or whenever it is, he's walking down the street and like he just went grocery shopping or whatever, and all the neighborhood kids are around, and you know they are nice to him, but we get this hilarious line where he asks the kids like what they want for Christmas, and some of them say what they want, and the Moss Garcia kids like, I wish I had a lifetime subscription to Penthouse magazine. And this just sends him into like a rage again, you know what I mean, where you see him going through the bad book again. Oh yeah, the bad book. And we learn here that you know, along with Moss's other transgressions, that he's also thrown rocks at dogs and uses profane language. And then we get this like nutty fucking scene. Oh, where he goes to the house? Yeah, it's just so bizarre. It's so he sneaks over to like that. It's like the house across the street or something like that, right? Yeah. And like he's actively is it what's the name of the fucking kid he's spying on? It's the same kid. Oh, it is the same kid. Okay. Yeah. So when he's spying on him, dude, he's like looking all through the window and shit. Well, first he does like that weird thing where he covers his face in mud and like imprints an image on the side of the house with his like hands in his face. So weird. Yeah. And then, you know, he sees like the family leaving and he leaps behind the bushes. Again, with his face covered in mud, and like the mom's clearly agitated at the kid, and you know,
she's like, just telling him to like fucking get in the car and be good. And he spots Harry in the bushes and like slowly creeps over. And Harry fucking tries to spook him, dude. I thought he was gonna get like worried about getting caught, but he was just like waiting for the opportunity to scare that fucking kid.
Yeah, he like reaches his hands out. And I love how the kid runs up to his mom and it's like, there's a monster in the bush. And rather than like listening to her son, she just fucking bitch slaps the kid.
Dude, she wailed him, dude. I know, dude. No fucking bones there. She was just like, whoosh, get in the fucking car.
It is just such a bizarre scene. Like the whole like rubbing the mud on his face. It was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, I did not. Again, it was like I didn't understand the purpose. I mean, maybe he was just. I mean, he was clearly trying to scare the kid, but it was just like, why is he doing this? Why?
Yeah, for real.
And then you get this like, I mean, he does so many bizarre fucking things over the course. Like he's like, the next scene is like of him like pouring, like melting down metal and like creating like little wooden or like toy soldier dolls or whatever. And I'm just like, where the fuck is he doing this at? But like, it's in a room full of other dolls that are holding guns and like it's all like this stuff.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Just this room full of really off-putting, creepy-looking dolls. It's like, it just really builds on like this guy's just not normal.
No, he is just, yeah. I love that there's like this shot in this where he's like exiting the room and he like knocks into this like monkey doll or whatever that's just like dangling on a light, and it just like slowly kind of zooms in on the monkey doll, like this creepy looking thing. You're just like, ugh. But yeah, okay, and then what? It's like back at the Jolly Dream, right?
Yeah, it's like they're like it's like some form of Christmas party, and it's kind of just this weird scene where we get introduced to we learn, like there's like a video playing where we learn that the work is donating all these toys to this state hospital, and we get introduced to this guy named George Grosch, who was apparently a new executive in the training program. And it was his idea, and it doesn't really explain why Harry's mad, but it's like has something to do with the money that they're using for this or they're getting money from this donation or something. So he sees it as like what they're doing is immoral when they could have just donated the toys to do something nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's really
is what I gathered.
It's really convoluted. It's like on one hand, it sounds like they're getting something out of it, but like the video also alludes to like the fact that they're using like employee money to like make the like work this donation or something like that. So they're like they're framing it as like, you've all been so charitable.
That's what it could exactly.
And it's like the fuck, like nobody asked. But yeah, Harry's just mad because like he just thought like, again, like you're right, he's just like, we should have just done this anyway. Like we have all these fucking toys.
Right. And then he has this great scene where he just like goes to his office and loads up with all these bags and just literally steals like fucking 6 bags full of toys straight from the factory while this party is going on upstairs.
Yeah. He just robs them fucking blind, man. Like he goes from Santa Claus to Grinch real fucking quick in this scene. But then you learn that he has a plan with them, you know?
Yeah. Well, we learned that. Yeah, true. Yeah. But and then in the next scene, this is what I'm talking about, where he starts to get like super unhinged, because it has this scene where he fucking glues on this Santa beer, and he's like, you can tell that he's starting to like lose it here. He's laughing hysterically, and he just looks like a fucking nutcase while he's doing it.
Dude,
the fact he glued it on.
Yeah, he looks insane, dude. And it's like, yeah, he like shortly after it sticking to his face, he just starts like pulling on it to check it, and he just starts like going crazy a little bit, and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? He's snapping.
Like he's losing it.
He is fucking snapping.
As crazy as it is at this point, you know, he really hasn't like. You know, we're leading up to, he
hasn't done like much harm or anything. You know what I mean?
That's coming.
Yeah. You just give it a second.
Because it's like, we learn now that, you know, in the next scene, it's Christmas Eve. He's full on in his Santa outfit that he fucking made. It shows him like going through all these presents and filling up his van. He even drops off a bag of dirt on the Moss kids' front porch. It's hilarious.
Dude, throw some shade, man.
Yeah.
And he like straight up is just like going into other people's houses and like dropping presents, you know.
And then like we'll explain each scene, but then we get these like concurring for the next like probably like 40 minutes of the movie. It's these scenes of him going back and forth between being nice and doing nice things and then being a fucking cold-blooded killer. So it's just this really interesting dynamic where he's like, it's just bizarre to me.
And that's what I mean. It's like they paint this picture of like it's like on one hand this guy thinks he's gonna be like doing some good in this helpful way, but he's like also completely stone blind to like the means that it's taking, you know.
Because the first nice thing he does is he ends up driving out to the Willowy Springs Hospital. Yeah. And you know he drops off this big batch of toys.
Yeah, like a fucking van full of toys, man. Like,
and he has this like interesting scene where, as he's waiting for them to come out, he's practicing saying "Merry." He's like, "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he is. He's like he's really trying to get the whole roll down. Merry Christmas. Dude just looks. I mean, but it makes him look even fucking nuttier, just like standing out there. I mean, I think that's one of the first things one of the people ask him is like, "Where'd you come from?"
Right. Like, the security guard's kind of like a dick to him at first. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because he is a little nutty, so.
Yeah, I mean, a random dude shows up with a load full of toys, and you're just like, did you steal these?
Right. So yeah, he goes from doing this like nice deed of donating all these toys, regardless if they're stolen from his work or not. And he donates all these toys, but then he goes and does something.
Oh my god, dude. It's great. He drives like from there to like this good deed to going to like the church, the midnight mass that his boss is at.
Yeah,
right.
And that new executive, exactly.
And like, oh my god, dude, this sequence was so fucking like wild. Like, at first he's kind of like, you know, uppity people kind of come up to him. They see Santa standing outside as they're all leaving mass, and they kind of come up to him like, "Oh, there's Santa," like, you know, and like
mock him.
Yeah, they kind of mock him, and then shortly into the sequence, like he just fucking attacks, dude. But what does he attack him with? That
dude, it's amazing. He because it's like this central group of people mocking him, and he pulls out this toy soldier that he had made with a really long sword. And this scene is brutal because he rams it in the guy's eye, and they do this super close-up shot where like all this like pus and shit flies out of his eyes.
Oh, it was so
disgusting.
Good. It was so unsettling. It was so fucking awesome. And then he domes another person, right?
Yeah, he pulls out an axe and just like hacks these fucking like three people. Like you see the aftermath. It's like there's like 4 dead bodies.
Dude, it's fucking nuts, and it's happens so quick, man. He just like, and then he just fucking gets in his sleigh and just takes off.
Yeah, it's great. Just like in front of all these people too. It's just like holy shit. It's an awesome scene because it's the first. Because, like, I've seen this movie multiple times, but your first time watching it, at this point, it's, like, a good chunk into the movie, and you're like, this is a horror movie. Like, when is something going to pop off? And then it finally pops off, and it's worth the wait, because it's an awesome sequence.
It is so fucking good. And then, so he drives to, like, a different part of town, like, away from there, right? And he's, like, he kind of has, like, a moment in the van where, he has to gather himself from that activity. And then he just like stumbles upon like a random like holiday party.
Yeah, it's at the Families and Friends Association. And this is what I'm saying, where it's like he alternates between doing good things and bad things, because this is another scene where he goes and he parties with these people and gives gifts to kids.
Yeah.
One of the
they like all like quick, love him, you know?
Yeah. Real quick, it's like a kind of like a blink and you miss it kind of scene, but because the way he finds this party is he hears like the music going on, and he's walking up, and this guy sees him through, like, this guy sees the Santa through the window and invites him in. The guy that does that, his name is Mark Margolis. I don't know if you recognized him, but he played Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
That's legit.
Tuco's uncle in the wheelchair that fucking blows up Gustavo. Yeah.
He's been one of those like actors, like he just like has character, like these little roles like that pop up all the time.
Totally.
Dude, that's legit. I didn't notice that. Yeah, like I said, they like this whole crowd like eats it the fuck up. Yeah. I mean, he looks like a legit Santa Claus. Like, I'm not gonna knock his look, man. He like really, all that glue work on his face paid off, I guess. You know?
Yeah, he put the time and effort into looking like a, you know, he's not just some like Salvation Army bell ringer Santa. Like,
no.
You know.
No, he's de classe.
But as he's leaving this like getting ready to leave this party, he has this like gives this like monologue to the children, which starts out innocent, but kind of I wrote the whole thing down. It's a little long-winded, but I'm gonna say it. So he goes, "Stay good, boys and girls. Respect your mothers and fathers and do what they tell you. Obey your teachers and learn a whole lot. Now, if you do this, I'll make sure you get good presents from me every year. But if you're bad boys and girls, your name goes in the bad boys and girls book, and I'll bring you something horrible." And then he just laughs and shakes his belly in this like menacing way. It's just really another bizarre fucking sequence.
Yeah, because you're like, dude, he like at this point you're like, he might follow up on that. Like, if you're given enough time, dude, he might. It's fucking.
And then we have this like he gets back in his car and he has this other super unhinged scene where he's driving and he's motioning like he's cracking a whip, and he rifles off all the reindeer names. You know, he's like, on Donner, on Connor, on
now Dasher and Dancer and all. Dude, like, oh my god, dude, yeah, like he's fucking snapped. He's living in his own world at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We get another great sequence after this too.
Yeah, like that house he visits.
Yeah, where he goes to fucking Frank's house.
Yeah. Ho ho ho, Frank. I love it. He finds like a ladder and climbs up the roof like on the ladder and legit tries to go down the fucking chimney. And this was actually probably one of the most realistic things that I thought about this movie was like, yeah, if somebody actually tried to go down a chimney, they would get fucking stuck. And he got stuck. And I love that he had to like suck in his gut to like try and like pull himself out. But like it was a desperate moment, dude. You're like, is he gonna like have to be discovered up there? And you know,
I mean, I give him points for trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he tried to be.
You know what I mean?
He tried to be authentic. You know?
Yeah, but when that doesn't work, you know, he gives up and he eventually enters through an unlocked window instead. And
classic.
And then he lays out some toys next to the Christmas tree. You know, the kids see him, but they pretend like they're sleeping. Mm-hmm. So that's another point in the nice book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess he gets another nice tally. But then he goes to visit the parents' room, right?
Which is Frank. Frank's and his wife are sleeping. Yeah,
they're sleeping, and he like hovers over Frank. Man, like this whole scene was just intense. So he like wakes Frank up, right, you know, and just starts smothering him like with his pillow, and the wife like next to him just like
he's smothering him with the bag of presents.
Oh yeah, that's right, there's the fucking bag of presents. Oh my god, dude. And like it's like finally by the time like, oh no, she doesn't even wake up. That's right, dude. He grabs the fucking star on top of the
awesome.
Christmas tree and like fucking slashes Frank's throat, and like he flops over and lands on his wife's body, like it's sleeping, you know, next to him, and that's when she fucking wakes up. Like,
imagine waking up and the first thing you see is your husband slit throat. Like you just wake up and right there in front of your, like that'd be fucked up.
It would be. That's why I straight thought that too.
Sequence
I was like, that
is amazing.
And then he just like holly jolly runs the fuck out of the house with his bag of presents. Like, oh,
yeah. Well, because at first, like he walks out and the kids see him, and then you hear the wife start screaming like a fucking banshee.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And yeah, it's a great. I love the shot where he grabs the star and he slits the guy's throat. Like you said, the guy just like flops like The Rock just took a stunner and just like right on. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so good, man. And yeah, dude, like he's going back and forth, naughty and nice, man, naughty and nice. Mm-hmm. And then you get the sequence where you find that his actions haven't gone unnoticed. So there's like a news report that his brother and family are watching about this Santa attack, and
because now it's Christmas Day. You know what I mean?
And it.
But yeah. Because like you said, his brother's watching this news bulletin that pops up, and we also get this because like it happens earlier in the movie where we learn that Phil, Harry's brother, doesn't think very highly of Harry. Mm-mm. And in this scene that gets brought up again where his wife Jackie's trying to defend him.
Yeah, did he starts yelling off about like, I wanted an older brother.
Yeah. He's like, I wanted someone to look up to, someone to be proud of, but my brother's an emotional cripple.
Yeah, fucking hard, dude.
And I'm his keeper, and it's just like, damn, like regardless, like that's a cold way to look. You know what I mean?
Dude's really putting it on him. Like I don't know. He doesn't. Yeah, you don't really like get the vibe that you gotta like Phil. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because and also we forgot to note, like in the beginning of the movie when they see Santa Claus, like I think his brother's the one that like tells him like, no, that was just Dad. Like I was
that was Dad, and Harry doesn't want it. He's like, no, that was Santa, you moron, or something like that.
But then we go back to like the toy factory, right, where he's
it's just like Harry. What were you gonna say?
He's just full on like he wants to be Santa so hard, dude. He like goes there and he starts like. There's like this moment where he like picks up like one of the toys and like smashes it because he's always complaining about the quality of them and shit. Mm-hmm. But then he goes and like runs all the production lines and like stands above it on the scaffolding, and he's like, look at like kind of like this like look at my work sort of thing, like ho ho ho. And
before he does that, it shows him like wake up in his van from the night before, and he's like just disheveled at this point.
Yeah, he looks. But his outfit looked awesome Christmas Eve. Today it just looks fucking like a mess.
It's like covered in coal and blood. But yeah, it's like you said, it's a really cool sequence where he powers on all the conveyor belts and just lets all these toys fall to the ground and break.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. There was somehow a conveyor belt line of like gumball machines with gumballs in them that were just smashing onto the ground. Oh man. And then then you have like the lineup, classic Santa lineup where it's like, I just recently rewatched Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. There's one of these sequences in there also.
There's a hilarious line in this sequence where it's like all the Santas are walking up and one of them's black. And the black guy's like, you dudes gotta be jiving me or something like that. Like, what the fuck?
Just fucking.
But yeah, they're like, there's like, the owner of the toy factory's there, and Frank's family is there talking to them, and we get this hilarious line where one of the detectives is like, Santa's hit list is goddamn selective, and the other one's like, you mean gift list? It was just like cringy.
Yeah, because there's those couple of detectives. One of them was like he might not be doing something too bad, like or something like that, like just alluding to that. It was just like, it was weird because. Yeah, like why is this guy like kind of in favor of his activity? Anyway,
there's also like this quick, like they talk about Santa mythology very, very quickly, and that's the only time it happens in the movie, so it's kind of odd too.
Yeah. And then is this then don't you get the sequence where he's like he's like on the phone with his brother, And he's like talking about, this is like one of those weird things, like he like fucking starts talking about like this tune that I've learned to play or whatever.
Yeah,
and like
it's fucking bizarre.
And you're just like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, he's like, I finally found the right notes. I can play the tune now. You're like,
yeah, like the
what?
tune that everybody dances to, and you're just like, where is this coming from? Like,
yeah, he also mentions that like he remembers everything. He's just like babbling on all this like fucking nonsense.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, like we're gonna have it out once and for all or something like that, and you're just like, what the fuck? Again, you're just like it's just a dude that's fucking snapped. Like he's just like he's babbling. He's like, you know, when he's on the phone with his brother, he's like adjusting his fucking like eyebrows to make sure everything's kind of as right as possible, because he's just like, this is who he is now, you know?
Yeah, like
Who he's always wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly. You know, for better or worse, or however you want to look at it, like. Because I'm okay. So I'm just gonna say that, you know, obviously this movie ends on Christmas Day, but what was his like long game of, you know, a couple days later? Like, imagine having to pull that fucking beard off that was glued to your face.
Dude, that's what I mean. Like it's just so bizarre. Like, 'cause you're just like, there seems to be like no method to this madness outside of like the Santa aspect of like getting dressed up and like really embracing the holiday. But then doesn't he like drive to like a whole fucking like neighborhood?
Yeah, he gets he's like, it shows him driving. He gets his van gets stuck in like a snow berm. Yeah, this is a really weird sequence. It almost looks like he gets enchanted and captivated by the moon and ends up walking through this back alley. It's really weird.
Yeah, and then he like stumbles upon this like whole like lane of like part of this road where it's like all these lit up like Santas
super decorated houses,
snowmen, and like he's just like, it looks like he's just like drifting into home almost. He just doesn't, you know, it's like, oh, this is like, what a wonderful little place. And then you find, I don't know, it's strange. And then he finds that back alley, and like that shot of the moon.
Exactly what I'm saying. It's so weird.
There's so many aspects to this movie, because like, you know, you're like this. You're like, yeah, is he like all of a sudden just like enchanted by the fucking moon? Like earlier, he's talking about this tune that he's learned how to play, and like now, and like, and then he has the Santa thing. So there's so many levels to like this weird psychological break this dude seems to be fucking experiencing, you know.
And then you have this explains any of it.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, absolutely does not. It does. It just lets you just eat it up. But then there's a sequence where like he stumbles upon like, well, he's like walking, right, and then there's like this group of families kind of pop out of nowhere, and all the kids run up to him being like, Santa, Santa, and you know, they're like, he doles out more presents to him, like, you know, knowingly, like I think knowingly that he's like got them on his side, and he does look like shit in this scene.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want this dude creeping around your fucking kid at this point.
Not at all.
You know, and so like the like one dude from the group of parents like pulls out like a switchblade and like starts approaching him. Like
it's amazing.
And like basically like the kids are like human shielding Santa Claus at this point, dude. Like
one of the girl even like picks up the switchblade and she's like, no, daddy, don't, and gives it to him.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? This is some straight up craziness, dude. It's like, it's just so fucking bizarre. There's like people watching from balconies, like, what is happening in this? Yeah, and then she gives him the fucking knife, and this dude just looks insane. So, you know, he like bum rushes like into the fucking folks, and like, I can't tell, did he actually like poke the dude? No, he just kind of knocks him over.
Yeah. And even like as he's running off, one of the ladies like pricks him in the head with like a pin she was wearing. Right.
She like pulls a pin out of her hair or whatever, and like fucking snaps him in the cheek with it. It's like, oh, it was actually kind of a little like gnarly moment. But then just fucking mob rule takes over, dude.
Yeah, they start lighting fucking
like there's like this whole sequence where like they're like making the torches, lighting the torches, and he's just like, is running away from everybody, and like, it's, aside from pitchforks, man, this, like I said, this is like your classic mob situation, man.
I mean it's like
there's a fucking killer Santa on the loose.
It's just, I don't know if they meant to or not, but it's like once you get older, you kind of notice things. It's almost like a social commentary on like paranoia, because they're like, they don't know if this guy is the killer Santa from the news they're hearing about, but he sure as fucking shit looks like it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, it's just it could be any number of people dressed up like fucking Santa, but yeah, that's an interesting look at it, man. But yeah, he like kind of escapes them for a second by hiding, ducking out of the way as they like run by. And is that when he kind of starts stumbling towards his brother's house?
Well, yeah, he eventually gets back in his van and gets
unstuck.
Gets it unstuck. Yeah, then he goes to his brother's house, and you're like, what's gonna happen here?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And
we get this whole scene where like he comes in the house and the kids come down wanting to see him, and Phil's like, take them upstairs, Jackie. You know what I mean? Because, Phil obviously,
he's not having this shit.
Right.
Like he doesn't like his brother. He doesn't fucking want to. He's not gonna condone it.
Mm-hmm.
But he also like has his own personal fucking issues that you can tell he's like kind of taking out on.
Yeah, because at this point, like he knows that Harry is the fucking killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's calling him insane and sick and all this shit, and this is where Harry like kind of tries to blame it all on Phil, like blaming Phil for revealing to him as a kid that Santa was their father, and how Phil didn't believe.
Yeah.
And rightfully Phil's like, why are you you killed all these fucking people and you're gonna try to blame it on me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he fucking snaps and just starts choking the dude the fuck out. I thought that scene was just so funny. I was just like, he just like, ah! He just starts fucking choking him, dude. And there's this great parallel to the beginning of the movie where the wife, Phil's wife, is like watching from the stair banister, as like he's like choking Santa in the living room, like the kids were watching, I just thought it was really fucking, I was just like, what the hell? But then he just straight up, so he chokes him unconscious, and at first I didn't know. I was just like, holy shit, is this the ultimate twist where like he just fucking kills Harry and then becomes the killer himself or something? But
they
he
could
just
have done that. Yeah.
But he just drags Harry's unconscious body outside like immediately. No fucking holds. He just like immediately picks him up, and like Harry's just limp at this point. He's just dragging his ass out of the fucking house.
Yeah, he fucking drags him puts him back into the van.
Yeah, he just I just thought it was just such a funny fucking sequence to me. But yeah, he puts him back in the van, like presumably just like, so hopefully he just like gets up. Maybe once he like wakes up, he just fucking leaves or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But he does wake up, and I love the way he just like sledgehammer fucking punches Phil and then just drives off. You're just like,
yeah, he just fucking hammers him real quick, and just is fucking gone in a flash.
Then we like get one of the most fucking outrageous, off the rails, bonkers endings of all time,
dude.
And this is like what I'm talking about, where people talk about this movie, they talk about just this ridiculous way this fucking movie ends. It's amazing.
I was so surprised that this is how it ended, but I was so fucking into it. So obviously, like, he's just like, again, we've been talking about how shitty he looks. He's just disheveled. He just woke up from being choked the fuck out. Like, this dude is out of it, and he's like driving his sleigh van, and he runs right back into that fucking mob. And the way it goes down, man, they basically like. I don't know if they've necessarily, like, the way it goes down is like he avoids running into them, but goes flying off the fucking bridge.
Yeah,
right?
they force him off a bridge essentially.
Yeah, and there's this epic sequence of just the fucking van just flying in the air, and I
wonder how they did that shot.
I really do too, because it looked fucking awesome.
It was amazing,
and just like the whole like you zoom out from like the sleigh, and you still see the van in air, and this is where you just like everything's off the rails, because it just starts curving towards the moon and takes the fuck off into all a fucking good night or whatever.
You get a voiceover. I forget which. It's like a famous excerpt from a Christmas story, or I forget what it is, but it's just like, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good. It's just
it was
what an ending, dude.
It was so bonkers, man. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
And then it just ends, and you're like left to wonder, like, okay, either what really happened here? Did he actually fall off the bridge and die, and this is what he imagined happened, or did this really fucking happen? Like it's
exactly.
It's awesome. I love it.
You're just eternally questioning what the fuck happened to Harry here, man.
It's just such a weird movie, man, because there's brutal kills, there's dark humor, there's just so much that happens in this movie. Yeah. Just, you know what I mean? It was definitely one of those movies where they didn't go this necessarily safe route with it. Like, it's just so different than other Santa-based killer movies. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Because, like you said, you just, like, you really get, like, you dig into that character, you see him break, and then you just have these, like, really fantastical moments. You have these wild back and forth moments between, like, the dude stabbing somebody in the eye with a toy soldier and then going and dancing with a bunch of fucking random people at a, holiday party. And you just, like, shit like that, and you're just like, what is... And then that ending where you're just like, okay, like he's flying off.
Because I don't. The guy that directed this, his name's Lewis Jackson. I couldn't find anything else that he directed. I think he directed a couple other movies that just flew under the radar. But same with the guy that played Harry.
Yeah. Okay.
His name is like Brandon and like. Maggart or something like that. I've never seen him in anything else, but he kills this role, and he probably had so much fun doing this. Like, even I don't know if this was his only acting credit or not, but it's iconic.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I think it's strange that I haven't seen like his face in anything else, because I loved this role, man. Like it was, and yeah, I think he probably. I mean, it was probably like a really fun opportunity as an actor just to do something fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did read that like the toy factory that they used in the movie was like actually like a toy factory that was owned by like the executive producer's mother or something like that. And so it was like an actual toy factory.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking tight. Like, have access to that.
Yeah,
but yeah, this movie is definitely like I would say like a holiday classic for sure if you're a horror fan, man, because this was just fucking bazonkers. This was bizarre, bonkers, fucking fun. Like
if you've never seen it, it's the perfect time of year to. It's on Shudder. You know what I mean? It's the perfect time of year to go watch it if you've never seen it, and if you have seen it, go rewatch it, because I've seen this movie multiple times and it never gets old.
Oh, dude, there's so much rewatchability to this fucking movie, you know it. Like some movies there isn't, like, but like some of them there are, man. Like you can always like enjoy, and this is definitely one I could see myself watching multiple times in the future.
Yeah, I love a good like horror movie that's like seasonal themed or holiday themed, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know if it's the same for this movie, but I remember like we've obviously reviewed 2 of the movies from the Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I remember when that first one came out, there was all this backlash towards it because people were just like shocked at this concept of their like they're desecrating this sacred Santa Claus figure, and how dare they make it to where he's a killer, like, you know. It was just, times were so much different back then, because nowadays you wouldn't bat an eye at that, but back then it was like it drew the ire of all these people, and like essentially it was like the Mothers Against Drunk Driving kind of thing, where they got this movie, like I'm pretty sure they got it out of theaters. I could be wrong when it comes to Silent Night, Deadly Night, but it was like they protested the shit out of that movie because they were so against the concept of a killer Santa, which is fucking amazing.
That is fucking crazy, man. Yeah, because there's so many classic killer Santa movies now. you know?
Well, I think my all-time favorite killer Santa is, and it's they do it in the 1970s Tales from the Crypt movie, but my most favorite is in the first season of the Tales from the Crypt show, All Through the House. That's one of my favorite, like Killer Santas. It's amazing. I feel like sometimes I use the same words too many times, but it's an exceptional. It's one of my favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes, and it's awesome.
Damn fine. Damn.
Just the concept of a Killer Santa is so cool. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the dichotomy, right? It's like he's a holly jolly motherfucking figure, but if he's coming to slash you, he ain't fucking holly jolly, man. Like,
as you get older, though, the idea of it's also like I feel the same way about trick or treating. There's a creepy concept of just going to strange people's houses, but the concept of Santa Claus, like he sees you when you're sleeping, that's creepy. And this guy that just comes into your house and leaves gifts for you, it's just when you get older, it is kind of more of a creepier concept.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, as we see in this fucking movie, like somebody checking up on your kids, writing down their naughty or nice activities is fucking weird, man. I don't give a shit if you're Saint Nick or fucking Harry here, dude. It's like, it is a bizarre activity to do.
Totally. A grown man should not be actively watching children with binoculars from the rooftop of his apartment complex. That's what I'm saying. It's just man. He does so great in this role.
Dude, it's so fucking. I love those moments where he just sprints off back to his apartment.
It's amazing. It's great.
Oh, I love it.
Just makes so, I don't want to spoil the next one, but as ridiculous of a Killer Santa movie this is, the next one we're doing is even more fucking outrageous. Just the concept of that movie, the actor they chose, everything about it. I remember first watching it and just being in awe.
Yes.
So I can't wait for next episode.
Dude, yeah. This one's a banger. Next one's going to be a fucking awesome one. Yeah, we'll leave it there, man. This is 32, episode 32. Hopefully everybody's doing good, Thank you for listening as always, Corn Dogs, man, because we got some more, we'll call them presents, podcast presents coming your way. Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, we'll see you on the next episode, Corn Dogs.
See ya.